Bird used to tell me, look here, man. I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open.
If you had 273 professional athletes here, professional basketball player, and you say who's the dirtiest player in the NBA, you know, I say 95%, I say Lambeer or Larry Bird.
Larry made me have sleepless nights.
There is a big difference between respecting a player's talent and genuinely fearing what they can do on the court. The NBA has been home to countless legends, including Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Garnett. Yet, according to many former stars, only one player truly intimidated even the game's toughest competitors, Larry Bird. He didn't rely on overwhelming athleticism or flashy moves. Instead, Bird dominated with confidence, relentless skill, and unforgettable trash talk. Even Gary Payton, widely considered one of the greatest trash talkers in NBA history, admitted that Bird was on another level because he always backed up every word with his performance. Perhaps the most remarkable part is that several Hall of Fame players, men known for their toughness and competitive spirit, have openly acknowledged that Larry Bird was one of the few opponents who could get inside their heads and make them feel genuine pressure before the game was even decided. Fear can be just as powerful as talent, and few players understood that better than Larry Bird. This is the story of how a player who was never known for elite athleticism managed to intimidate some of the greatest competitors in NBA history. The stories come from fearless legends who rarely backed down from anyone, yet they all describe the same experience when facing Bird. Charles Barkley, famous for his confidence and relentless trash talk, admitted that Bird had a unique ability to win the mental battle before the game even began. One of the best examples came during the NBA's first three-point contest. As the league's top shooters prepared in the locker room, Larry Bird walked in with complete confidence. According to Barkley, who later shared the story on Club Shay Shay, Bird's unforgettable entrance set the tone before a single shot was taken.
Yeah, Larry Bird was the coldest talker ever, man. And he bagged it up because he was so cold.
Larry Bird won the first NBA three-point contest and then repeated in 1987 and 1988, becoming the event's first three-time champion. His confidence was so legendary that stories claim he kept his warm-up jacket on for parts of the competition. But the real intimidation came during games. In a matchup against the Philadelphia 76ers, Bird pulled Charles Barkley aside in the middle of the action, setting up another unforgettable example of the mind games that made so many NBA stars respect and fear him.
You could have heard a pin drop.
Charles Barkley admitted he had no response, and Larry Bird later explained that he simply didn't want a white defender guarding him because he believed it was disrespectful to his game. The remark became another example of Bird's ability to get inside his opponents' heads and make them question themselves before the next play even began. But that was only the beginning. Dennis Rodman, one of the toughest and most relentless defenders in NBA history, eventually found himself facing the same mental challenge. During Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Boston, Rodman arrived fully prepared after studying every detail of Bird's game. Yet, despite all his preparation and defensive intensity, Bird still found a way to take control of the psychological battle.
I remember he was cursing under his breath. And I asked him, I said, Larry, what's going on with you? He says, you guys are being disrespectful to me. And I says, what are you talking about? He says, you guys are putting a white guy on me. That's disrespectful.
Wait, who's the white guy you put on him?
I can't remember who it was. I just started laughing. I had no comeback. But he says, it's disrespectful when y'all put a white guy on me.
Larry Bird backed up every word with his performance. In one memorable Game 7 against the Detroit Pistons, he finished with 37 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists to lead the Celtics to victory. During another matchup, Bird even challenged Pistons coach Chuck Daly from the court, asking who was supposed to guard him and joking that he might score 60 if no one stepped up. His confidence and relentless mind games frustrated even the toughest opponents, and after that heartbreaking playoff loss, Dennis Rodman's emotions boiled over, leading to comments he later admitted he regretted.
So that was my whole job, to guard the toughest guy on the team, on the other teams. So, so I'm guarding him. And every time I turn my head, he's over there in the three-point line. He said, I'm over here, Rook. I'm like...
Dennis Rodman, a 5-time NBA champion and one of the greatest rebounders the game has ever seen, has openly acknowledged how difficult it was to face Larry Bird. But an even more surprising story comes from Gary Payton, whose reputation as one of the NBA's greatest trash talkers was unmatched. After facing Bird 4 times and losing each matchup, Payton admitted he realized there was another level to psychological warfare. Speaking on Draymond Green's Throwing Bones podcast, Payton recalled the unforgettable words Bird used during their battles, offering another example of the confidence and mental edge that made Bird one of basketball's most intimidating competitors.
No, I told you, I just said, I was green. I was just saying anything, man, just because, you know what, I was frustrated because guess what? I got my ass whooped.
Gary Payton called Larry Bird the coldest player he had ever faced, a comment that quickly spread throughout the basketball world. LeBron James even shared the clip on Instagram, while Kevin Garnett discussed it on J.J. Redick's podcast. According to Payton, Bird stood out because he combined elite skill with unmatched confidence. He didn't just talk, he delivered every single time, making him one of the most intimidating competitors in NBA history.
Bird used to tell me, look here, man, I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open.
Gary Payton admitted that everything Larry Bird predicted on the court usually came true, making Bird one of the few players who truly got inside his head. Yet even that story is overshadowed by Bird's battles with Michael Jordan. Many fans remember the spectacular highlights, but they often overlook the mental games that began before the opening possession. Jordan was known as one of the fiercest competitors in NBA history, yet Bird's confidence and relentless trash talk still made their matchups unforgettable. Even after Jordan exploded for a record 63 points against the Celtics in the NBA playoffs, Bird's psychological presence remained impossible to ignore.
I'm gonna take you over to this corner, I'm gonna dribble 2 times, I'm gonna hit your ass in the face, and it bet not touch the rim.
Wow.
And then he said if it do, I'm gonna come right back and do it again until it touches. Motherfucker used to tell you, boy, you can't do shit with me. I'm too motherfucking good for this.
Wow.
I'm gonna give you a Christmas present. This jumper in your face.
Michael Jordan later described the moment as one of the greatest compliments he ever received. However, he never openly thanked Larry Bird for it because he wanted to protect the competitive fire that existed between them. For Jordan, that rivalry was built on respect, intensity, and the desire to always prove himself against the very best.
That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
When rookie B.J. Armstrong tried to answer Larry Bird's trash talk, Michael Jordan immediately shut it down. Jordan made it clear that nobody on the team was going to challenge Bird verbally. Bird even encouraged the other players to join the conversation, but Jordan refused because he understood the strategy. He knew Bird used reactions, frustration, and emotion as fuel. So Jordan created a simple rule for his teammates: stay quiet. Even Jordan himself couldn't overcome Bird in the playoffs. Their postseason record tells a shocking story. Larry Bird went 6-0 against Michael Jordan. The greatest player in basketball history never defeated Bird when the stakes were highest. But Jordan wasn't the only superstar who struggled with Bird's mental game. Dominique Wilkins, known as the human highlight film, was one of the most fearless scorers of his era. He had faced every kind of defender and every form of intimidation, but his first encounter with Bird showed him a completely different level of confidence.
If you had 273 professional athletes here, professional basketball player, and you say who's the dirtiest player in the NBA, you know, I say 95%, I say Lambeer or Larry Bird.
Really?
Yeah.
On the very first play of the game, Larry Bird immediately started the mental battle. He looked at Dominique Wilkins and confidently said, "I don't know why they got you guarding me, Holmes." Then he backed up his words with action, stepping outside and knocking down a three-pointer. It was the perfect example of how Bird combined confidence, skill, and psychological pressure from the opening moment.
And so I go shake his hand, and he put both hands behind his back. And I'm saying, okay, he's getting his head ready to play.
Wilkins answered right back on the next possession. He attacked the basket, finished with a powerful dunk over Bird, and pointed back at him to show he wasn't backing down. It was the kind of response you would expect from a fearless competitor like Dominique Wilkins, setting the stage for a legendary battle between two of the NBA's toughest personalities.
First play of the game, he says, "I don't know where they got you guarding me, Holmes." And he shoots a three. I was pissed. I said, I wasn't mad he hit the three, but there's some bitch that's called me Holmes.
For 13 years, Dominique Wilkins and Larry Bird shared one of the NBA's fiercest rivalries. They never spoke or shook hands until their legendary Game 7 matchup in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Before the game, Bird guaranteed a victory in Boston, while Wilkins responded by saying whoever guarded him was going to have a difficult night. Wilkins backed up his words with a stunning 47-point performance on 19 of 23 shooting, while Bird finished with 34 points, including 20 in the fourth quarter despite battling bronchial pneumonia. The Celtics survived with a 118-116 win, and after the final buzzer, Bird approached Wilkins and ended 13 years of rivalry with a moment of respect. Wilkins was a great player, but Bird proved once again why he was considered one of the greatest competitors ever. Yet the player who faced Bird more than anyone was Magic Johnson. A five-time champion who had handled countless pressure situations, Magic had seen everything basketball could offer, but he admitted that Larry Bird was the one opponent who truly gave him nightmares.
Because I remember one time I came down and I dunked it on him. He laying on the ground. He fouled me, and I'm pointing. And he said, "Hey, Rook." I said, "What?" He said, "What?" He said, "I like you. You got, he said, you got balls, but I'm still going to get 30 on your ass." He got about 38, but I had to pay my dues. I wasn't upset about that because, back then, as a rookie, you got to pay your dues. Simple as that.
During the 1984 NBA Finals, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson added another chapter to their legendary rivalry. In the middle of the game, Bird confidently told Magic, "I'm going to score right here on you." Magic responded that he knew it was coming and would be ready. Bird then hit a turnaround jumper and calmly reminded him, "Told you so." Magic's respect for Bird started years earlier when he first saw him at the 1978 World Invitational Tournament, watching Bird dominate against some of the best college talent. Years later, during Bird's Hall of Fame induction in 1998, Magic became emotional and credited Bird for pushing him to work harder throughout his career. However, the competitive fire between them never disappeared. In a later interview, Magic admitted that during their playing days, he hated Larry and every Celtic because of how intense their rivalry was.
Larry made me have sleepless nights, right? No, he did. He did have me because I was scared to death that I knew he could beat me. Right. And so
that was the true relationship between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Hate, respect, and fear all mixed together. Magic, a five-time champion and global basketball icon, admitted that Bird was one of the few players who could truly get inside his head. Bird was not just a great basketball player. He was a mental force who believed he could beat anyone before the game even started. 3 MVP awards, 3 championships, 2 finals MVPs, and incredible career numbers prove his greatness, but the statistics never fully captured his impact. His biggest weapon was always his confidence and psychological advantage over opponents.
I hated Larry and every Celtic. I really don't like you. Well, I knew Larry Bird was coming for me.
Right.
You see?
That's it.
And if we line it up now,
Right.
He put on that green, I put on that purple.
Yeah, he ain't playing. You ain't playing.
Come on, man.
Larry Bird's intimidation wasn't just about scoring points. It was about telling opponents exactly what he was going to do and then making it happen right in front of them. 6 Hall of Fame players, some of the toughest competitors basketball has ever seen, all shared the same belief. Bird was one of the most terrifying opponents they ever faced. It wasn't only because of his talent, it was because of his mind. His confidence, awareness, and ability to control the mental battle made him different from everyone else. If you believe Larry Bird was the most underrated trash talker in NBA history, share your thoughts. And if you think another player deserves recognition, let us know in the comments. For more stories about basketball's fiercest competitors, stay tuned. Larry Bird didn't just play the game, he controlled it mentally like nobody else.